When family help turns into control, a modern marriage story. Maya realized something was wrong the moment Jordan went silent at the kitchen table. Not the distracted silence of a tired parent, but the frozen kind, the kind that meant he was hiding something. The manila folder sat between them, edges worn, like it had been handled too many times by people who knew more than she did. "I wasn't supposed to see this yet," Jordan said finally, rubbing his face. "Mom said it would just upset you." Maya opened the folder anyway. The document was dated 3 years earlier, before the townhouse, before the baby, before she'd left Chicago for Jordan's job in Denver. It outlined a private loan from his mother, Ellen, toward their down payment. 15% of the purchase price. In exchange, Ellen was listed as a partial stakeholder in the property. Maya felt the room tilt. "You told me your mom gave us that money." "She did," Jordan said quickly. "I mean, she said it was a gift. This was just paperwork. In case." "In case of what?" Maya asked, her voice steady in a way that scared her. Jordan didn't answer. The townhouse had been their first real adult leap, close enough to Denver proper from Maya's tech commute, far enough to afford on 2 incomes. They'd painted the nursery themselves, budgeted carefully, argued about throwing pillows like it mattered. Maya had believed, completely, that the house was theirs. Now she saw Ellen's name printed neatly beneath theirs. That afternoon, Ellen arrived early to pick up their daughter, Lucy. She moved easily through the house, opening cabinets, humming softly. "I'll take her to the park," she said. "You two look like you need a break." Maya watched her adjust Lucy's jacket with practiced authority. This was the same woman who'd moved closer after her husband died, who'd offered childcare when daycare waitlists stretched for months. Maya had been grateful. Relieved. "Did you know about this?" Maya asked, holding up the folder. Ellen's smile didn't fade. "Of course. It was always understood. Not by me." Ellen sighed, like Maya was being dramatic. "Honey, families help each other. That money was my retirement safety net. I couldn't just give it away." Jordan stood between them, hands raised slightly, like he could calm gravity itself. "Let's not do this right now." But it was already done. That night, after Lucy was asleep, Maya stared at the ceiling while Jordan scrolled through his phone, avoiding her eyes. Somewhere between the mortgage payments, the childcare favors, and the unspoken expectations, their house had become collateral. And Maya couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning. Maya thought the paperwork was a betrayal, but Thanksgiving would reveal just how many people knew, and how long they'd been waiting for her to catch up. Maya didn't plan to confront anyone on Thanksgiving. She told herself she would wait, breathe, and survive the holiday like a normal person. But families have a way of pressing on bruises without realizing, or caring, that they're there. The dining table at Ellen's house was crowded with casseroles and opinions. Jordan's sister, Rachel, had flown in from Phoenix with her husband and their immaculate children. Conversation bounced from airfare prices to interest rates to how impossible it was for retirees these days. Ellen carved the turkey with practiced precision. "It's good Jordan and Maya bought when they did," she said casually. "Real estate is security. Something to fall back on." Rachel nodded. "Especially when you've invested in it." Maya's fork paused midair. "In what way?" she asked. Jordan stiffened. Rachel blinked, then smiled thinly. "Oh, did you not know? Mom helped with the down payment. We all talked about it." "All?" Maya repeated. Ellen waved her hand. "It wasn't a secret. I just didn't want to burden you with details." The word burden landed hard. After dinner, while Lucy napped in the guest room, Maya found Rachel on the back porch scrolling through her phone. "How long?" Maya asked. Rachel didn't look up. "Since before you closed." Mom was nervous. "You two were young, stretching yourselves. So you decided for us?" Rachel finally met her eyes. I decided to protect my mother. Someone has to. That night, Jordan admitted the truth in fragments. Ellen had worried about losing control after her husband died. Rachel had pushed for legal assurance. Jordan had signed, convincing himself it was harmless, temporary. I didn't think it would matter, he said. I didn't think she'd ever use it. Maya laughed then, sharp and humorless. She's already using it. She lives there like it's hers. As if summoned, Ellen knocked softly and stepped in. We need to talk, she said. About contingency plans. She laid out her fears plainly: medical costs, inflation, not wanting to be dependent on Rachel. The house, she explained, was a safety valve. A guarantee. And what about us? Maya asked. What happens if we need to sell? Or move? Ellen hesitated. Well, we'd have to agree. Maya felt the invisible walls close in. Later that night, Jordan's phone buzzed with a news alert. Another round of layoffs at Maya's company. The headline glowed between them in the dark. The house wasn't just a home anymore. It was a bargaining chip. Maya hadn't lost her job yet, but by the time she did, Ellen would make it clear just how much that house was really worth to her. The email arrived on a Tuesday morning, bland and devastating. Role elimination. Strategic restructuring. Not performance-related. Maya read it 3 times before closing her laptop and sitting in silence. Lucy babbled from her play mat, blissfully unaware that the math of their life had just changed. Jordan tried to be supportive: coffee, hugs, promises, but stress crept into his voice. We'll figure it out, he kept saying, like repetition could make it true. Ellen reacted differently. Well, she said, folding her hands at the kitchen table, this is exactly why I needed protection. Maya stared at her. Protection from us? From uncertainty, Ellen replied calmly. Now we need to talk about options. Her option was simple: if things got tight, Ellen would move in full-time and increase her equity share. Fewer expenses for Maya and Jordan. More security for Ellen. It makes sense, Rachel said over speakerphone that night. You're lucky Mom's willing to help. Maya felt something crack. Help doesn't come with ultimatums. Jordan wavered. Student loans. One income. Healthcare. The numbers favored Ellen's plan, and everyone knew it. What no one knew, what Ellen hadn't shared, was that she'd already spoken to a real estate attorney about enforcing her claim. Maya found the email by accident while printing job applications from Ellen's tablet, the subject line unmistakable. Options for co-owned property dispute. Maya didn't confront her right away. She waited, gathered documents, learned terms she never wanted to know. Then she sat Jordan down and showed him everything. He went pale. She said she'd never push us. She already is, Maya said. You just didn't want to see it. That night, Jordan finally snapped. He drove to Ellen's house alone, words spilling out, about betrayal, about marriage, about how this was destroying them. Ellen cried, said she was scared, and said Rachel had pressured her too. But fear didn't explain the lies. The next morning, Ellen arrived with a proposal. She'd forgive part of the loan if Maya signed an agreement limiting future sale without family consent. Maya stood, hands shaking. No. Jordan looked between them, torn in half. Outside, snow began to fall, quiet, relentless. Jordan thought refusing Ellen's deal would end the fight, but Rachel had one final move that would force everyone to choose sides. Rachel flew back to Denver unannounced. She didn't knock, she let herself in, eyes sharp, voice controlled. You're being emotional, she told Maya flatly. This is business. Maya laughed. Then stop pretending it's family. Rachel laid it out cleanly. If Maya and Jordan didn't formalize Ellen's stake, Rachel would help their mother force a sale. Legally, they could. The equity was documented. The timing, post-layoff, was strategic. Jordan exploded. "You do that to us?" Rachel didn't flinch. "I'd do anything to make sure Mom isn't broke at 75. The room filled with old resentments. Jordan always being the favorite, Rachel always being the responsible one. Ellen cried, insisting she never wanted this, even as she didn't stop it. Maya felt strangely calm. That night, after Lucy was asleep, Maya told Jordan the truth she'd been holding back. She had a job offer, from a smaller firm in Seattle. Less pay at first, more stability long term. But it required moving. Selling the house. Jordan stared at her. "You waited to tell me?" "I needed to know if we were free," she said softly. They realized then that the house had become a test, of loyalty, of marriage, of whether Jordan could separate love from obligation. The next day, Jordan made his choice. He called a lawyer. Not Ellen's. Not Rachel's. He confronted his mother with facts she hadn't expected, undocumented promises, coercion, emotional leverage. He told her he'd rather start over from scratch than live in a home that didn't belong to his wife. Ellen looked at him like she was losing him for the second time. "I never meant to hurt you," she whispered. "But you did," Jordan said. "And I won't let it continue." Rachel stormed out. Ellen withdrew her claim days later, quietly, without apology. The house stayed theirs, but something fundamental had shifted. Maya thought winning the house meant winning the war, but the real cost wouldn't become clear until they packed their boxes. They sold the townhouse in spring. Not because they had to, but because they wanted to choose something unentangled. Seattle was rainier, smaller, and unfamiliar. But it was theirs. Ellen didn't come to help them move. Rachel didn't call. The silence was heavy, but clean. One night, months later, Maya watched Jordan assemble a crib in their new apartment. Lucy laughed from the floor, delighted by the chaos. Jordan caught Maya watching him and smiled, tired, genuine. "We lost a lot," he said quietly. "We kept the right things," Maya replied. They still talked to Ellen, carefully. Boundaries replaced assumptions. Help was offered without paperwork. Declined when it came with guilt. Maya never forgot the lesson: security that costs your voice isn't security at all. And Jordan learned that protecting his family meant choosing it, again and again, even when it hurt. The house had been leveraged. But walking away gave them something better. Freedom.